Hi guys, so I was chatting with some students and we had a friend just lose his very first tooth. And I've had a couple of you guys lose your first tooth. And so when I was flipping through my box of books, I found Bruce's loose tooth. So I thought it was perfect. This is a fairly old book. I think it was my mom's. I don't think I ever read it to my kids. I do remember seeing it at my granny's house. So it's pretty old. My brother might know more about it, but I don't really. I just remember reading it at my granny's house. But since all my friends are starting to lose their teeth, super exciting, I thought I would read Bruce's Loose Tooth. There once was a moose whose name was Bruce. Bruce's tooth was very loose, so he asked the advice of a kindly old goose. "What do I do with this wiggly tooth? It's a terrible bother, and that is the truth." The goose said to Bruce, "I can see no excuse for a tooth that is loose in the mouth of a moose. I'll find a string or any such thing, then I'll make a noose and pull the tooth that is loose, and it will fly out like a bird on the wing or a kite in the spring." And see, he's got a real string. I remember really liking that when I was little. I'm actually surprised it's still there. Bruce said to the goose, "Well, to tell you the truth, I'm fond of this tooth that I've had since my youth." The goose said to Bruce, "Let me help you and lose that tough tooth, Mr. Moose, that has caused such abuse." So the goose found a spruce, and he made up a noose. And when he tied up the moose with the noose to the spruce, Bruce said to the goose, "I'm afraid I don't see why a moose such as me should be tied to a tree." And so you can still see the string. Oh, hold on. I gotta pull it back through on these pages. Yep. "Silly moose," said the goose, "if you'll just bend the spruce and let it fly free, you most surely will be rid of that tooth that is loose." With a smile of great glee, Bruce then bent the tree almost down to his knees and let it fly free. "Hip hooray!" cried the goose. "Hip hooray for the spruce." "Oh, be still," called Bruce. "It's not clear to you that this is a terrible tree, has just broken in two, and the tooth is still loose in the mouth of this moose." Then they gave the tooth knocks and hard socks with some rocks. Ouch. Finally, some very large blocks, till Bruce seemed to rock from the knocks and the socks, but the tooth stayed in place like the fur on a fox. That's not how we get a tooth out. Oop. I'm not quite sure what's going on with these pages. Sorry. Let me see if I can get it through somehow. Let's see. There's a knot that doesn't want to come through. Okay. Sorry, guys. There we go. "Don't despair, silly moose," said the kindly old goose, "for I see a thing here that will surely produce the loss of a tooth in the mouth of the moose." "Here, where?" cried out Bruce. "The caboose," spoke the goose. "Hi, Mr. Caboose," called the scampering moose. Replied the caboose, "I'm not in use. I'm ignored. I'm forgotten. I'm just a recluse. No good at removing a tooth from a moose." "A recluse," moaned Bruce. "Not in use," wailed the goose. The caboose said, "You see, I'm really not free. I can't budge on this rail till a train comes for me. And I've been here for 2 years now, going on 3. So for 39 days and 39 nights, the 3 of them sat till a train came in sight." Wow, that's a long time to sit. First they heard the whistle, then a clickety-clickety-clack, and the train stopped beside them right there on the track. The engine said to them, "I hear a caboose." "Here's one," cried Bruce, "that isn't in use." The caboose sat up straight, and he lit up each light. Bruce called to the goose, "See, his lights are getting bright. Now comes the end of this terrible plight." "Squeak," said the caboose. "He said squeak," shouted Bruce. He's moving, at last he's in use." "Chug," said the caboose. "He said chug," cried Bruce. "Hurry up," said the goose. "We must tie up the noose." "Squeak, chug, chug, squeak," called the creaky caboose, as the goose and the moose quickly tied up the noose. Off went the caboose, then the moose, and then Bruce, and there on the track lay the tooth that was loose. See the tooth right there? And now the caboose is no more a recluse. He is constantly busy and always in use. And happily riding inside him is Bruce, who is finally rid of that tooth that was loose. And where, you may ask, is their old friend the goose? He's the chief engineer on the line of the moose. The end. Love you guys. Miss you. Mwah. Have a great day, and I will hopefully see you soon. Bye, loves, and congrats on all those loose and wiggly teeth.